From the SNC World Headquarters in New York, I'm Haley Bianco, and here are the stories we're following at this hour. Some Republican senators are expressing concerns with at least one of President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet appointments. Trump has picked Representative Matt Gaetz for the role of Attorney General, despite having once been under investigation for sex trafficking. Mitch McCann takes a look at why some are not on board with the former president's choice.
According to reporting from the New York Times, a number of Republican senators appear skeptical of Matt Gaetz' chances of being confirmed as America's Attorney General. He's got his work really cut out for him, Senator Joni Ernst reportedly chuckled, while Senator Susan Collins said, "I was shocked by the announcement." In recent years, the Florida congressman had been the subject of a sex trafficking investigation, which resulted in no charges being laid. Hours after President-elect Trump announced the nomination, Gaetz resigned from Congress, effectively ending a House ethics investigation into him for sexual misconduct.
A statewide recount has been ordered in Pennsylvania in the U.S. Senate election between Democratic incumbent Senator Bob Casey and Republican David McCormick. Our election results partner, Decision Desk, had already called the race for McCormick last week. The current count shows McCormick leading by about 28,000 votes. Counties must begin the recount no later than November 20th and must finish by noon on November 26th. President Joe Biden is beginning a 6-day visit to Peru and Brazil for the final major international summits of his presidency. Biden will make stops in the Amazon rainforest and the Group of 20 Leaders Summit in Brazil. In the new year, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will command a trifecta of power in Washington after the Republicans secured a clean sweep of Congress. The GOP flipped the Senate and held the House of Representatives, giving Republicans control of the White House and both chambers of the legislature. Benji Heyer reports.
This hands Donald Trump complete dominance over America's branches of government. When he takes office in January, he will be able to push through his policies, domestic or foreign, with little to no forms of resistance. And this provides lawmakers with the ability to launch impeachment proceedings against Trump's opponents. Even the Supreme Court is weighed in his favor. Its mostly conservative-leaning justices have granted him presidential immunity. It leaves Democrats in the political wilderness, whilst the MAGA agenda is unleashed for at least the next 2 years.
The UK's Guardian newspaper group says it's going to stop posting on X, insisting it's become toxic. The timing is interesting, as it comes after billionaire Tesla and X owner Elon Musk was named as part of the incoming Trump administration. Ali Barrett joins us now with more details from London.
In its announcement, The Guardian told its readers that the US election had underlined its fears that the platform formerly known as Twitter was being used by Elon Musk to, in its words, shape political discourse. It also claims that the site is used to promote what it calls far-right conspiracy theories and, at times, racism. Guardian employees will still be able to use X for news-gathering purposes, but there will no longer be official posts from Guardian accounts on the site. Elon Musk, in response, called The Guardian a laboriously vile propaganda machine.
French President Emmanuel Macron has warned Europe to prepare for another trade war with the United States. Meanwhile, the European Parliament has discussed the impact of Donald Trump's election win. William Denso has more details from Brussels.
Donald Trump's threatened to impose duties of up to 20% on all imports. Against that backdrop, the French President Emmanuel Macron said a world of tariff wars is coming. At the same event Wednesday, former European Central Bank chief Mario Draghi said that during the Trump presidency, the EU risked being forced to pick a side between the US and China. Members of the European Parliament have also held a debate on how US-EU ties will be impacted during the Trump administration. At that meeting, the EU's Foreign Affairs Chief Josep Borrell says Trump's win should prompt the bloc to strengthen its security and take destiny into its own hands.
You'll start to see some changes with TV and radio drug ads next week. The FDA has issued new rules effective November 20th that include simpler language and no distractions when explaining the risks and side effects of prescription drugs. Satirical news publication The Onion bought Alex Jones's InfoWars at a bankruptcy auction with the backing of families of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. A Defense Department report found that suicides in the U.S. military increased last year. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has declared the issue a priority. Overall, there were 523 reported suicides in 2023, compared with 493 in 2022. The Producer Price Index rose 0.2% from September to October. Compared with a year earlier, wholesale prices were up 2.4%. Average prices were still nearly 20% higher than they were 3 years ago. European food delivery giant JustEatTakeaway.com is selling Grubhub for $650 million, but it's just a fraction of the billions it spent to buy the U.S. platform 3 years ago. Wonder Group, a New York-based food ordering company that touts fast fine dining, is set to be Grubhub's new owner. Under terms of the deal, Wonder will acquire Grubhub from JustEatTakeaway.com for $150 million in cash and $500 million in senior notes. Back in 2020, during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic and a surge in demand for takeout meals, Just Eat agreed to buy Grubhub for $7.3 billion. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits fell to its lowest level in 6 months. The Labor Department reports jobless claim applications fell by 4,000 to 217,000 for the week of November 9th, while the total number of Americans collecting jobless benefits fell to 1.87 million for the week of November 2nd. Now, let's check out today's closing bell numbers. Today is National Pickle Day. To celebrate, Burger King has added pickle fries to its menus nationwide for a limited time. BK's pickle fries are fried dill pickle spears served with a side of ranch. And that's what you need to know at this hour. In New York, I'm Bianco, Salem News Channel.